If you're struggling to lose weight on low calories like 1200 calories, then make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to finally start getting results, and it's a matter of when, not if. Hey, this is Colin DeWaay. So I've noticed something going through my analytics of this channel, and that is the majority of people who watch these videos are not subscribers. So if you're someone who enjoys these videos and you're not currently subscribed, then make sure you do so, not only so you don't miss anything, but it also helps send me and YouTube a strong signal that this is the type of content you like. Alright, so if you're not losing on around 1200 calories, there could be a number of reasons for this, but the most common reason is, in my opinion, not accurately tracking your intake. And I'm not saying this as a slam on you, I don't think there's anything wrong with you, it's just we as people are not very good at accurately accounting for our intake. This has been shown pretty frequently in research, and there was even one study that looked at exactly this. They took obese people who said they could not lose weight on 1200 calories, and what they found was they were actually eating about double the calories they said they were, not to mention burning about half as many calories as they thought as well. Remember, your target calories are irrelevant if you're not accurately accounting for that, and this is something I see all the time. This could be a lot of extra bites and nibbles and tastes and licks that you're not accounting for. This could be a lot of the small things that may not be very many calories each on their own, but can add up to more when you combine them all. For instance, ketchup. It's only 20 calories for a serving, right? Well, have you ever looked at what an actual serving of ketchup is? It's not very much. You're probably more realistically getting 3, 4, maybe even 5 servings of it, and that could be more like 60 to 100 calories. Then you start throwing in things like your vegetables you're not counting for, your fish oils, your coffees, and all these little things. While they may only be 20 to 40 calories each, when you add them all up together, it can add up to hundreds of calories that are not being tracked. It can be a lot of eyeballing and very loosely estimating portion sizes instead of weighing your food on a food scale, and I do recommend weighing grams on a food scale over volume, as this is going to be much more accurate. I have an older video that goes into detail on this, I'll throw in the description if you want to check it out later, but weighing your food can make a big difference. It can be the weekends that you don't account for. Maybe you feel like when you do this you're not going off that much, but it could be much more than you think. I remember I had a client before who was struggling to lose weight on these lower calories, and she mentioned to me that she'd gone out a couple times and didn't really account for anything, but felt like she didn't really go that far over or anything, but she kept struggling with this. So finally one day I said, hey, let's take a look at it. Sometimes there can be a lot of value in just estimating, and let's try to get a good idea of where things really are. So she told me all the stuff she consumed on this day, and it turned out when I estimated it for her, it was more like 4,000 calories. So if you're eating 1,200 calories and you have a 4,000 calorie day, that's going to undo the entire week's worth of deficit in a heartbeat. So if you are struggling to lose weight on low calories, my biggest recommendation for you is to take the next week or two, and what you're gonna do now is just be spot on perfect with everything. And if you watch my videos, you know I'm not about perfection. I think perfection is generally the enemy. I'm not saying you can't ever have untracked meals or days or have more calories sometimes and live your life. Sustainability matters, but you can do anything for a week or two, right? And we really wanna make sure that you actually can't lose on these calories. And I can't tell you how many times I've had clients who were struggling to lose on calories that you would really think they should be seeing pretty good results with. And we have this conversation and I say, hey, this week, let's just be spot on with things and really dial it in and see, and then boom, they lose like 2 pounds after not losing or even gaining previously. What this does is it tells you for sure if you're really in a spot where you can't lose or not, and it can be very eye-opening what things look like. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're being pretty lax with things, and it shows you areas where you can make improvements. Plus there's some strategies you can take, like measuring more of your calorie dense foods, but not necessarily the lower calorie dense foods. For instance, a lot of times people get caught up and feel like, I just can't weigh everything, it's too much. Well, don't weigh everything. Don't worry about weighing your broccoli and asparagus and cauliflower. I mean, certainly still track it because those calories count, but if you're 30 or 40 grams off on like broccoli, you're literally talking like 10 or 15 calories in your day. If you're 30 or 40 grams off on peanut butter, now you're talking 2, possibly even 300 calories that aren't accounted for. So you want to put more attention on the stuff that adds up faster and not get too hyper focused on the little things so you don't get totally burnt out. Now, if you do all this and you still seem stuck, there's a few other things we can take a look at. One being taking a look at your protein intake. I understand it's harder on these lower calories to eat a higher protein diet because it's going to take up a much higher percentage of your total calories, but protein is consistently shown to be so much more effective, not only in a calorie equated diet, but there's even some research that showed a higher calorie calorie intake with more protein created better results than a lower calorie intake that had a lower protein intake, especially in combination with a good weight training plan, which is the next thing you can look at. If you're not training, you're missing out on arguably the best thing you can do for improving your body composition. This is why we can't only look at weight, because muscle has weight, but the training stimulus is so powerful and helps you burn more calories, improve your metabolism, increase lean body mass, help with reducing body fat. Just don't get caught up being the cardio bunny and make sure you're training hard. And with regards to activity levels, that's the next thing you can look at. If you're on low calories and struggling to lose, perhaps you're just pretty sedentary throughout your daily life. You might have a stay-at-home job, you're sitting in front of a computer all day, you're not getting out and doing much, and therefore you're not expending very many calories. So getting up and moving more can help put you into the deficit you need to be able to lose body fat. So start going out for walks more frequently. And the nice thing about walks is it's not so taxing on the body. When you're on these lower calories, you're not going to have a lot of energy supply, and doing more higher intensity forms of exercise are going to run you into the ground. So if you get out and start moving more just through daily walks, if you have a dog, take your dog out for a walk, start going for a half hour to maybe even an hour walk each day, and this could make a huge difference. But it can also be the opposite of that. Perhaps you're doing too much. If you're overstressing your body and you have the stress of the low calories and you're pounding yourself into the ground with very intense exercise and every single day training hard, doing an hour worth of intense cardio and just blasting yourself, your body is not going to be able to recover from this. It's going to get run to the ground and it's going to fight you. You also want to look at if you're giving your body a break occasionally, not just physically, but also with your food intake. Are you taking strategies like perhaps double refeeds or diet breaks where you bring your calories up a little bit and keep your hormones and metabolism in a better spot? Instead of constantly hitting 1200 calories every day, maybe you do 1200 calories 5 days a week and then 2 days in a row of maybe around 15 or 1600 calories, and even occasionally taking a full week or two on these higher calories, possibly even reducing your cardio some and giving your body a break. You can't just keep going all the time. Your body's going to fight this too much and eventually things are going to stall. You have to give your body a reason to not want to guard against these low calories so much. So if one of the reasons you do struggle is because of the weekends, a refeed approach could be a good strategy for you. There's a big difference between a controlled refeed where you know how much you're eating, but you get some more food and some more flexibility in your diet a couple days, versus just going out and doing whatever you want and undoing all your progress. And if after all this, you're still stuck, first, don't say, screw it, it's too hard, I might as well just do whatever I want. You will gain weight so fast your head will spin. Your metabolism is slow, your hormones are all out of whack, and you're gonna end up way behind when you eventually, almost inevitably, try again later once you start panicking about what's happened. So what you wanna do instead is start doing something called a reverse diet, where you start gradually increasing your calories to help get your metabolism back into a better spot. Your body's gonna start getting used to having a higher calorie intake. This speeds things up, and then down the road you'll be able to come back from a better position to start seeing results again. And keep in mind, no matter what, you're gonna have to do this at some point. Even if you're able to start getting things going again, your body's going to adapt and eventually things are gonna stop. Whether you get to your goal or not, this part of the process is gonna have to happen, so don't fight it. And it's why if in the past you've always gone right down to very low calories right off the bat, you always get stuck, and why you need to learn to eat as much as you can while seeing results so you can keep making progress and make adjustments when the body plateaus. But while you don't want to go right to low calories, it doesn't mean that you should never eat low calories like 1200 calories. Many people will say this, and I say, it depends. There's a lot of things you need to take into consideration. Every person is different. So what I want you to do next is check out this top video that talks about if 1200 calories is too low for you. It'll show you what a meal plan can look like for such low calories, some strategies for navigating a low calorie diet, and everything you need to take into consideration. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in that other video.